Hello, David Snowpeck here from Snowpeck Games, and this is a short devlog that I'm recording about the game that I'm making for the Godot Wild Jam number 24. So last week, I was pretty sure that I wasn't going to participate in the Godot Wild Jam number 24 because I was making such good progress on the procedural generation for my Monster Revolution game, and I wanted to try and stay on schedule for recording my Godot and Git tutorials. I really would like to get into the rhythm of getting one of those out a week, and having a whole week doing a game jam totally throws that off. So I was pretty sure I wasn't going to participate. But then the theme was announced, which for this jam, the theme is family, which connected with two ideas that I've had floating around in my head for a while. So one of the ideas is that I've really wanted to do a game that is all dialogue. So no action or twitchy skill component at all, just dialogues and choices. And I've also really wanted to do a game starring my daughters. I've taken a bunch of attempts at making little games where there are characters in them, and none of them have turned out really that good. But this seemed like the perfect opportunity to try and do that and combine it with like an all-dialogue game. And so, I knew I had to do it. So first, I had to finish up some of my procedural generation stuff for Monster Revolution and record the devlog about that. I had to record the next Godot and Git tutorial. So the first time that I was actually able to start working on my game for this Godot Wild Jam was late Sunday. So I've already missed a lot of time. There's only, 5 days and 5 hours left. Not enough time to actually get this done. And so I haven't really done that much, but I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to see if in the next 5 days I can actually pull this idea together. And I'd like to show you what I've got so far. So I'm going for kind of a top-down JRPG kind of aesthetic. I chose some asset packs. I'm using 2 of them from Kenny, this roguelike RPG pack, a little indoor addition that he made to that pack, and this little set of characters that I found on Open Game Art, all CC0 assets. I'm going to have to do a bunch of editing on these little characters so that I can try and make some of them look like my daughters and maybe one to look like me and my wife or something. I'm not entirely sure what the actual story of this game is, which is crazy given that it's going to be a story game. And I've decided too that I'm going to do the mapping in tiled rather than in Godot. Godot's tile map stuff is pretty good. Like I mostly use that for most games. But when you have to do a lot of tile manipulation, especially with lots of different layers and like really big tile sets, it's just so much easier in tiled. Which I have experience with for a couple of other Godot games and some earlier not Godot games. So I'm going to do the tile work in tiled. I've so far just made this one map, which is actually just remaking the example image from one of these asset packs. I think it was for this one. I don't see it here right now. Sometimes Kenny actually includes like the tiled maps for his preview images in with the asset pack. He didn't this time. I actually had to recreate this one in tiled, but it was really good because spending that extra time looking at the image and trying to find those tiles and seeing where they were and fitting it all together helped me get to know the tile set a little bit better. So I think that'll be good long run that I had done that. So anyway, tile maps in tiled using those asset packs. So far I have movement, which right now I'm using the arrow keys to just move a step at a time. I also implemented click to move, so I can click on a particular spot and the character will walk there. So this is another thing I'd really like to try and do. I'd like to try and make a game that you could do entirely with the mouse, only with clicking. And also that you could do entirely with the gamepad and only the gamepad, which are two like diametrically opposed things, only mouse and only gamepad. But like, I like the idea that if it's on a computer and it's a super simple game, like why not have it be all mouse? That seems like the easiest, most accessible way to do it. And then I personally prefer playing with a gamepad, so I always have to have gamepad support in all my games. So anyway, I have the movement, including that little bit of pathfinding with the Godot A-star component to click and move. Oh, and then I have a little secret hidden event area over here that if you step on it, it brings up this message about the oven being hot because we're getting close to the oven. And that's all that's there so far. This dialogue system is super primitive. I looked at a bunch of pre-made dialogue systems. There's a whole bunch in the Godot asset store, and they're all both more complicated and more specific than what I think I need. So I think I'm just going to make my own little one. I also bought one. I bought a dialogue system asset off of itch.io, which again I don't think I'm going to use. Like it's more complicated than what I need, and like for a game jam, I really want to be able to put all of the code open source on GitLab so other people can see it. So I think I'm not going to use that. But it was interesting to look at all of these different dialogue systems, even though I'm going to end up doing my own thing. And that's probably the next thing I'm going to work on. Let me look at my to-do really quick. Yeah, so finishing out some stuff with the dialogue system. Making that more usable. There's a whole like action button thing I want to implement where you walk up to an object and then press a button or click on it to activate it rather than just walking into it, which is what I have set up right now. I have to formalize kind of the structure that I want to have, which I have figured out a little bit about how I want kind of the high level structure for the game to work internally, figuring out how to get NPCs in there, and then maybe I can get through this stuff I'll just said in the next day or two, and then I have like 3 days to come up with a story and do all of the other little things like editing the characters and sounds and menus and music and all of that stuff. So it's gonna be a stretch. It's gonna be hard to get this all done, but I'm super excited to finally be trying both of these ideas, even though it means that my next Godot and Git tutorial is gonna be delayed a week, and I'm gonna have a week where I'm not making any progress on the procedural generation for Monster Revolution and all that stuff. Anyway, I'm hoping to do daily devlogs while I'm working on this. So talk to you next time. Bye bye.